It's my second video about education. I spent 10 years doing online e-learning. So my second thoughts is about the way we teach altogether. So so now, for example, we teach them by grades. Yeah, this was good like for 200 years, 300, 500. But new technologies, with older technologies, we are um, just stopping kids from learning. So my proposal is instead of dividing by grades, why not to divide by the subject? For example, um, each, for example, math will have its own path. For example, it would be place value, addition, subtraction, measurement. So this would be the each of them will be the one path. So whenever the student finishes these three subjects, they can go to this one. They don't need to wait for the second grade because everything is online. The students don't need to stop anywhere. Even now, K-12, they do all this training, but they have their own way. Why not to use the self-paced education like old educations do? Like you go to Coursera, they have their own education. Usually Coursera also does that, but you go to any of the courses, you go to, for example, cloud computing. I just click something. So this is how you do. You just go and path everything, and then you can go. So for example, the instead of giving like first grade, second grade, third grade, we can do by subjects of place value, addition, subtraction. So each of the new subject will have a prerequisite to complete the previous one, so they cannot jump. But when they complete the measurement, they don't need to wait for the first grade to end. So they can go to second grade and just continue with their subject. There is no grades, it will be the next subject. And when they finish the subjects, they can go to that. So if a student can complete three, like place value up to here in 1 year, that means this is what their grade is like. And there is no need to have grades. So a student might be on third grade subject on math and will be on first grade in reading. So each student have his each student has their own path. So the path is the same, but the pace they take is different. So some students are interested in history. They will go in deep knowledge of history, but their math will be behind. They will there wouldn't be anything that will stop them from learning their subject. And the only thing is there would be two issues that will come. So the first one is their social skills. So will they be able to talk to other people if they start education? And the second one, they will have a problem with learning from computer as a child. So what we can do is give 5 grade of up to 5th grade. They can go to schools not that big that we have, but it might be a small schools like one small house with a teacher. Mostly they will spend time playing, and they will do some things they can do at home, they can do at school, but mostly the schools wouldn't have the middle school, high school, everything will be online. They can have their Skype meeting, whatever meeting they have, they can talk. There is no issue. K-12, everybody does that, and I didn't see anybody having like speech impediment or something doing the homeschooling. Most of them they have more education because they spend more time on learning rather than going and walking and jumping after school or in between the schools, because the schools they have their own ways. Like my kid goes to K-12 and they have their um, obligatory physical educations and they have all this stuff. So there is nothing wrong with doing homeschooling. So they can do that, and there might be some students they will have first grade. Some of the subjects will be behind. So what the suggestion is, up to 5th grade, everything will be required. So they will need to do everything up to fifth grade. When they finish fifth grade, they can go back in sixth grade. On sixth grade, there is no limitation. So sixth grade, they decide whatever they want. So how do they know what subject to take? So at the same on the same website where they have all this their path, there would be all universities. There would be like instead of math, there would be, for example, MIT, or there would be University of Phoenix. So you can go to University of Phoenix, for example. You go to University of Phoenix, you click on that, and then from I just clicked some other stuff, but what they can do, they can have the prerequisite. If they meet the prerequisite, but they're for the Phoenix University, some of the subject, for example, they want to be uh, they want to learn robotics at the MIT. So MIT has its own prerequisite. It will say, okay, you need to do, um, for example, you will need to complete algebra 2. So if you go to, for example, modeling or something, so if you finish your algebra 2, then you can go and start your university, like MIT education. So MIT doesn't care when you study, how long you study, whether it will take you 4 years or 1 year. The only thing MIT will care is if your prerequisites are met, that whatever grade you are, you might be in fifth grade, might be in eighth grade, 10th grade, doesn't matter. You meet your prerequisite, you can just apply to MIT. And MIT, there is no limitations in MIT because it's online. MIT doesn't care how many students study. Like in Coursera, I know that computer science and I guess it is 101, yeah, MIT. This is 501 or something. So one of the courses here on computer science is mm, is taught is learned by 1 million students. Yeah, so there is no limitation so in the number of students because it's online and everybody can go and meet the criteria. For example, I live in India or in Uzbekistan, Pakistan, doesn't matter where I am. If I want to go with American way of education, I start with that. I go to the American university, American school. There might be some fee, and I just go. And most of the things, everything is the is done by using the quizzes, and everything can be done um, using the machine learning or something can figure out the way the student writes, the way the student um, answers the question. So every all these behaviors can be controlled by the computer, so they will know whether the student is just the student or the parent or somebody helping. So they use this in the check cards, yeah, on the banks and everything. If you start filling in differently, they immediately will ask your ID or something to verify that you are the person who is putting. So they will ask you some questions. So I think instead of doing all this grades, we can have, for example, one student one student uh, can have their own path. Yeah, the first would be math, then would be science, then would be the whatever that's reading and everything. So the student might be like in the middle of the like they will complete their math, but they will be like science, everything will be we don't care. So if MIT requirements are met, student can start going to MIT. From here, MIT will have its own path that you need to follow. So this way, we will have a real university that is proven by the Coursera or other online universities. The thing is, because we control everything by government. I think government is a little bit um, they're a little conservative, just going and doing all the stuff. But I think the way I say it makes more sense. It's not bound to place. The schools can be shrunk. We don't need a lot of stuff there. The only thing, one teacher can control a lot of students at once. Um, there's no limitation, so students can complete their school in fifth grade, seventh grade. We wouldn't have problem. And if you go to my other video where I explain how to we can combine 5 grades into one, so we can go far away by on the school at the and their the way we teach. For example, my kid, I do homeschooling because she was always on front. She will come to the end and then she will wait for a long time so the students, other classes, her classmates catch up with her. And we were kind of losing an hour on the way, like 30 minutes one way, 30 minutes the other way. And we spend a lot of time, they have a lot of leisure time, and she needs to wait for other students. Even though they have extra classes at the school for like excellent students or something, but still it is once a week. It would be like twice a week or something. But if this would be online, well, we wouldn't have any problem. Student can go on their own pace. Everything is calculated by the computer, so no teacher. The teachers are not necessary. Only on the first grade up to fifth grade, maybe third grade, we'll do small classes, only small schools. Just explain them how to use the technology and how to talk to people. Just give them basics of the social things. The rest can be done online. My kid from fifth grade, she's doing her homeschooling, and I think she likes it more. Um, by the time she saves like 1 hour just on the trail, she saves 1 hour, and in that hour every week she does extra math. So in 8 days, in 7 days, my kid has extra 8 hours just on the travel to the school. So extra 8 hours is a lot. Like in 52 weeks in a year, she has approximately um, 400 hours by just doing this. So I think the way we do needs to change, and I don't know when it's going to change, but if they're going to do this experimental, I have two kids growing, I'm sure that they can do this on their own pace, and it would be much better. Thank you.